Imagine being able to decorate your metaverse apartment or house with your favorite characters, artwork, and even virtual replicas like spaceships from your favorite franchises. In fact, even right now, one platform currently makes this possible and with a very low barrier to entry, and I'll show you exactly how you can get started preparing for the metaverse as well. Before we start though, and as usual, be sure to smash that virtual like button for me and also consider subscribing to my channel for more cutting edge videos just like this one. Plus, you can check out my investing channel for additional insights as well. And with that, let's get started with the video. So what I mainly want to show you guys today is a platform called Vivi, which is a platform and an app that is primarily used for buying and selling and even displaying collectible NFTs. And what I like specifically about Vivi is that it focuses very specifically on mainstream and very popular brands and franchises like Disney, including Marvel, and even movie franchises like the Universal brand with Star Trek, as well as Back to the Future, and also collaborates with popular artists as well. In fact, it's to my knowledge the only NFT platform that owns this type of exclusive licensing with Disney, which again owns many of the most popular franchises in the world. Plus, you don't even have to use any cryptocurrency to actually buy any of their collectibles. And this is because even though Vivi is backed by its own native crypto token called the OMI token, which you can actually also invest in, and they say that they will have some future perks for it, although it's currently quite hard to buy because it's not really listed on a lot of exchanges. The way they set up their app is that you can actually simply go through the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store and just sort of pay through that method as you would normally do with any other app. Because even though their NFTs are still backed by their own cryptocurrency and the blockchain, they actually simplify everything by just putting this behind the scenes and actually allowing you to just simply purchasing these so-called gems that are actually just worth the same amount as $1. So one gem would equal $1, and you would just go through that by purchasing gems through the, again, App Store or Google Play Store, and then just using those gems to buy your NFTs. Another reason that I really like Vivi is that most of their NFTs are actually 3D or actually even interactable or animated, making them more difficult to replicate and more impressive to display, as well as, not being able to just simply screenshot an image and just call that an NFT or like your profile picture or whatever, right? Not to mention, they also have huge plans for their own metaverse called the Viviverse, which will likely also be compatible with other metaverses and even games with Web3 technology. And now let's quickly dive into an actual demo of the Vivi app and how you can potentially invest in some of these NFTs as I have, although this video is not, by the way, financial advice of any form. So first of all, you will have to download the Vivi app, which is again free, and then once you log in, or first of all you want to create an account if you haven't done so already, you'll, after you get in, be first greeted with the store, which will show you not only the upcoming drops, which are the ones that have yet to come and that you can actually prepare for and actually click on them to notify you, and you can also see the latest drops, which are ones that have already happened very recently, right? And not only that, you can also scroll down and look at some of the other featured franchises. Like here we have like Ghostbusters and Back to the Future, and you can just scroll through and sort of explore some of their different brands right on their store page. By the way, the thing about trying to buy anything directly from their store is that even if you get in or try to get in very early on their drops, they usually get sold out within seconds due to just how much the demand is and sort of how cheap they get listed for, which after they actually get sold out from the Vivi platform or the Vivi store itself, you can actually usually then find those same NFTs listed in the secondary marketplace, right? Which means they're being sold by users. And you yourself can actually go and sell some of your own NFTs as well. And so currently it is indeed very difficult to buy anything for retail price on Vivi, although you can still definitely invest in and buy some of the NFTs you want from, again, the secondary marketplace. And now you just hit the brands link, you'll actually be able to browse through each of the different franchises that they are currently involved with. And these have actually increased by a lot since I last checked a couple of months ago. And now they have lots of different ones from not only Marvel and Disney, but also DC Comics and also different movie franchises like James Bond 007. And for example, here we also have a recent drop, which is a special Disney Golden Moments collection, which features different logos and iconic moments from the franchises within Disney. And some of these NFTs even have utility. For example, these NFTs, this series of NFTs actually come with, I think, 3 months of Disney Plus, which is a streaming subscription service, if you actually purchase any of them. And so if we continue scrolling through some of the different brands that they work with, you'll see that they really do work with many popular and well-known ones, not only in terms of, Marvel and Disney and movie franchises, but also things like fashion brands, as well as artists as well, right? For example, over the weekend, I think there was this pretty large NFT art convention, which also saw Vivi release NFT drops simultaneously, which featured some of those artists that were on the show, right? And so what Vivi also does really well is they tend to time their NFT drops with the actual event, such as a TV show coming out, like the Marvel's What If animated series. They actually had, associated NFT characters that dropped around that time. And also, for example, when No Time to Die, the new James Bond movie came out, they also had NFTs come out, which also had the utility rather of, doubling down as a movie ticket, or actually came with a movie ticket, right? And so they actually are able to sort of build around different types of hype and thus, gain publicity and thus grow and gain popularity in that way, right? And they've been doing it really well because also they have these really great connections with, very popular brands, right? Another example is the Eternals, the Marvel's Eternals movie just came out, or is coming out in some places, right? And they've also had, the latest drop, or one of their later drops be that as well. However, because of how popular the platform has become and because of how many people have been trying to buy up these NFTs, it's usually very difficult to be able to snag up any NFT as soon as they drop, which means you'll likely have to purchase them from the secondary marketplace, which can be accessed by going to the bottom right, the second button from the bottom right, which says market, which will allow you to browse to and sort of sort through different, the NFTs that are listed on the marketplace, right? Which again are sort of priced not according to their drop price, but according to sort of rarity and supply and demand, right? For example, we have the rare NFTs like these. By the way, many collections also have their own rarities, right? Or split up their NFTs into different rarities, such as you'll see this Zombie Hunter Spider-Man here, which I personally bought a different version of, a common version of, but this ultra rare version is currently selling on the secondary marketplace for a few hundred gems, right? And again, each gem sort of translates, or actually exactly translates into $1, right? So a few hundred gems would be a few $100 if we go by that. And so that would be an example of a rarer NFT, and because there's a limited quantity, right, obviously, and they're not going to do another drop of the same thing in the future, right, which makes them even more rare as time goes on. Potentially. Anyhow, if we look at some of the more common NFTs, we also have these lower prices as a result, right? Because of the supply being higher and depending on demand as well. But for example, these like Back to the Future common time machine cars are just going to be a bit cheaper at around 50-ish gems. And so what I also really like to do is if you click on view all on the right here, and then it'll actually allow you to browse through a lot of the NFTs. Go to the top right where there are these settings you can use to sort and filter the actual NFTs. And what I like to do is to click on the top here, the drop down menu sort of, and then select by sort by lowest value, which will allow you to start by seeing the lowest price NFTs at the top, right? And as you can see here, these are actually unironically the new Eternals NFTs that just dropped. Perhaps they're quite cheap right now at around 10 gems, give or take. Perhaps because of their design. I don't think they have the most appealing design. So you do have sometimes, NFTs that are not necessarily, even though they are, for example, like the Eternals is sort of hot right now as a topic and a movie and a sort of brand. It might not be sort of a winning NFT for the long run, right? So definitely be careful when you're investing into anything, and in my opinion, only spend money that you wouldn't mind losing, right? But anyway, we just browse through some of these lower priced NFTs. Again, we're sorting from the lowest price and onwards, right? I actually have seen, or I actually am seeing some pretty cool ones in my opinion, right? And like actually like sort of artistically and polygon, if you look at like the polygon count, they're sort of complex in that way. For example, we have like, and they also have like cool posters too, which you can actually put up on your virtual like room or augmented reality space that I'll show you in a bit. I have my own, and there's some cool ones like the Zombie Captain America. I think it's pretty affordable right now, and I think it's also very cool, right? And it's also obviously a very popular character. But the one that I ended up picking up recently is actually, if I just keep scrolling down, the Zombie Hunter Spider-Man, right? Which is the common version of it as opposed to the ultra rare version of it. And I got it for around 40, I think 42 or 43 gems, which as of the recording of this is currently what it's sort of priced at. And now to show you my own collection, which by the way you can access your own by going to the collection tab at the bottom. And as you can see, I only have one NFT right now, but I'm definitely still, you know, looking through the marketplace from time to time and eyeing and seeing if there's any new cool NFT that I'd be interested in buying, again with sort of fun money that I don't mind losing, you know, potentially in the future. So this is definitely not investing advice or financial advice, but it's something that I'm sort of doing for fun. And if the price goes up in the future, I think it does have a lot of potential for like the metaverse and, you know, decorating metaverse spaces and things like that, especially with Web3 technology, which by the way means that you can actually take your NFTs and digital assets and transfer them, or bring them rather, between different platforms and games and things like that, right? Especially with Vivi coming out with their own Viviverse soon, right? At least according to them. But anyway, as you can see here, I've got my sort of flying caped Spider-Man. He's not really flying, but I just made him hover in my sort of display room here. But I think he looks extremely cool. Worth the price in my opinion. And in your showroom, you can just put in any NFTs that you have. You can place your posters on the wall. You can put your statues around the room and whatnot. And you can even enable like an AR feature, which is kind of fun, where you can place your vault, you know, within like an AR space, and then you can just walk in, right? And I believe that in the future this will be enabled for other people, or for you to be able to share this with other people as well, right? Which will be a very cool feature indeed. Now the final thing that I want to show you guys real quick is how to actually sell any of your NFTs, which by the way can only be sold for gems and not any, you know, real currency or different type of cryptocurrency for that matter, at least as of right now, right? In the future there could very well be, and there should be, compatibility with the OMI token, which is a cryptocurrency, right? Their native one, which you can then use to probably, you know, convert into, you know, trade for other cryptos like Bitcoin, you know, in the future, or even, you know, sell it for say US dollars. Anyway, how you can sell your NFTs is by, again, going to the marketplace and then clicking on listings on the top. Then you can actually just select add listing. And by the way, they actually also allow for auctions, and you can also bid on auctions as well, which is something I didn't mention earlier, which allows you to potentially get things for even cheaper than, you know, the buyout prices that are, you know, in the marketplace as well. But anyway, here you can also do the same with your own NFTs, where you can set it as a buyout type of deal or an auction, right? And in both cases you can just specify the prices, you know, and whatnot, and just list them very, very easily onto the marketplace. And that is pretty much all I want to show you guys in today's video. Again, I do believe that Vivi has a ton of potential, but this is also not financial advice, so invest or buy NFTs at your own risk. Anyway, you can check out my other tutorials, which I'll link down below in the description. Also check out my free YouTube guide, which I'll also link in the description, and my other YouTube guide, the premium version, which will have a coupon code associated with it that'll expire soon, which also has 2 free lessons included, which you can just watch without having to, you know, go through any sort of sign up or payment process for that matter, because, well, they're free. And with that, check out my courses down below, my other guides, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.